the smear campaign within the family, created by whoever the main abuser is, which in my case was my mother. I'm going to go ahead and read your comment. Let's get into it and let's talk about why everybody believes it. My mother smears me to my own siblings and family members, and they all believe her. It's so frustrating and heartbreaking. First of all, I'm so very sorry for what I know you go through and have gone through and continue to go through. I'm assuming that you are still connected to your relatives in some way. And maybe you aren't, I don't know, but the way you wrote that makes me feel like you're still in it. What a lot of people don't realize, and it took me a very long time to realize, is that the smear campaign starts right from the beginning of your childhood at a very early point. And with narcissistic abuse, it is really insidious, and it's with little comments and kind of that breadcrumbing thing of let me plant, or seeding, not breadcrumbing, let me plant the seed, plant the seed, plant the seed, plant the seed. So for me, what my mother did to me that made it more palatable for my group of relatives to drink the Kool-Aid was she did things like, that Marnie has such an imagination, which later became that Marnie is a liar and always has been. And that started in my conscious memory. I remember my aunt speaking about me in that way from the time that I was 4 years old. That Marnie is such a sneak. She was sneaking all those candies. I used to sneak candy like any little kid does. Like my grandparents had dishes filled with chocolate kisses and stuff like that, and I would steal them, and then I would I would sneak them. I'd hide the wrappers. I mean, I'm like a little kid, like 5, 6, 7 years old, and my mother would out me for it. And so what did that do? That laid the foundation for everyone to look at me like I was sneaky, even though I was doing a very childlike, simple thing. That Marnie is boy crazy, which then became I was the tramp and the problem and, damaged goods. And it just kept building from there. And it took me a long time to understand, how can an entire group of people, adult people, look at a child and think so poorly of that child? And the answer is the seeding. The little planted seeds that then morph into bigger stories that then she attaches back. And then, of course, I didn't do myself any favors because at, 7 years old, I started running away from home. Now I was the rebellious bad kid who was causing problems. And my brother, who's 5.5 years old, or rather my mother's son, he's not my brother anymore, or I don't know that he ever was. He never really had the opportunity to be, because I was born the bad one, the scapegoat. And so what does that look like? He starts learning that there's something wrong with me right from the beginning of time, so that my mother can build that golden child alliance with him, and he doesn't develop real empathy for me or any sort of feeling at all for me other than there's something wrong with me. So of course your siblings buy into the smear campaign. They've been conditioned to look at you in a particular way from the beginning of time. So I know you didn't ask a question, but sometimes I think we need to kind of expand on these types of comments, because somebody out there, and maybe you were too, wonder why it is all these people buy into it. And the answer is because an image was placed in their brain, well, their little peon brains, from the beginning of your existence. And also, just to kind of take it a step further, my cousins who I grew up with, particularly one who's a little over a year younger than I am, he thinks my mother is the most amazing person, funny, all these things on the planet, because people like this are very charming. And of course, he only had 2 weeks at a time at a max interaction with her, vacations and her visiting, and she's the fun aunt and all of that sort of thing. And so when she was painting a picture of me to that generation, my generation of peers, the cousins, she looks amazing. So of course I'm the problem. This is designed, it is patterned, it is something that I see over and over and over again in all of my clients' experiences, and of course in my own. And for anyone out there who doesn't know, I am a specialized therapist, and I deal with survivors of narcissistic family systems. I run individual, I do EMDR, and I also have group therapies. So if anybody needs some extra support and you want to connect, feel free to do so. The link is in the description of this video. I wish you healing. I send you love and light. Thank you for being here with me.